Los Angeles was supposed to be the star of NBA All-Star Weekend. The league took over the city. The celebrities showed up. Cameras were everywhere. And the brand new Intuit Dome, home of the Los Angeles Clippers, hosted the main event. On the court, Anthony Edwards walked away with All-Star MVP honors, leading the U.S. squad in a high-energy game that matched the city's reputation for spectacle and star power. It was classic L.A. Bright lights, red carpet vibes, influences in the crowd, and that whole only in Hollywood atmosphere the NBA absolutely loves to lean into for All-Star Weekend. But while the league and most of the celebrities were soaking it all up, not everybody was buying the LA dream. In fact, one WNBA player used the weekend to call out exactly what she didn't like about the city, and her comments have been all over social media ever since. Indiana Fever guard Sophie Cunningham went viral after dropping a brutally honest TikTok about Los Angeles and the influencer culture she felt surrounded by during All-Star. While a lot of people came out of the weekend raving about the city, she pretty much walked away saying, "Yeah, this is not for me," and she didn't hold back. Cunningham posted a video on February 14th, right in the middle of all the All-Star buzz. You had the NBA's biggest names doing interviews, brands throwing parties, influencers posting perfectly curated content from every angle of LA. Meanwhile, Sophie hops on TikTok and basically unloads her entire opinion on what it's like being in that environment. She tried to ease into it a little, saying she wasn't trying to be judgmental and that every type of person can find their place. She even acknowledged that different people thrive in different cities and different cultures. But then she very clearly drew a line. She doesn't see herself as an LA girl at all. From there, she really spelled out why. According to Sophie, what struck her the most was how fake and flat everything felt in person. She said people didn't really dance, didn't even bother to say hello, and came across like they had no real personalities. In her words, everyone seemed the same, looked the same, acted the same, and it just felt off. If you've ever been in one of those super influencer-heavy environments, you probably know exactly what she's talking about. She pointed out the strange contrast between how big and loud some people are online versus how quiet and awkward they seem face-to-face. She mentioned all the famous Instagram and TikTok personalities who have built huge platforms, and she actually gave them some credit for finding a lane, building confidence online, and establishing themselves in that space. But then she made her main point. If you can't hold a conversation in person, can't look someone in the eye, can't interact like a normal human being offline, that's just weird to her. She wondered out loud if she was the odd one for thinking like that, then admitted she knows she's weird in her own way, but she still doesn't think it's normal for people to only feel comfortable talking to a phone screen instead of another person. You could hear the frustration in her voice when she told people to actually talk to someone in person and to look like themselves instead of trying to match this one online aesthetic. By the end of the video, you could tell it was less of a casual observation and more of a full rant about what she'd been seeing around her in Los Angeles during All-Star Weekend. Once that TikTok hit the timeline and started getting shared, the reactions were instant and very split. A lot of people jumped in to say Sophie Cunningham was just saying what plenty of athletes and regular people feel when they visit LA for big events. They backed her up on the influencer culture critique, saying that some scenes in Los Angeles really are like that. Everyone's curating their identity for social media, chasing clout, trying to look perfect for the camera, and sometimes forgetting how to be normal in person. For that group, Sophie came across as refreshing, someone from the WNBA who wasn't trying to sugarcoat her impressions just to stay politically correct or protect potential brand deals. On the other side, plenty of people push back. They argue that Los Angeles is way too big and way too diverse to be defined by one pocket of influencer behavior. Anyone who knows LA knows it's not just one thing. It has 100 different cultures, communities, and scenes. To them, Sophie was basing her opinion on a very specific crowd, the all-star adjacent world of VIP events, brand activations, and social media personalities. They felt like judging all of LA off that slice was unfair and a little shallow. But if you followed Sophie Cunningham at all in the WNBA, her comments probably didn't surprise you. She's got a reputation as one of the more fiery, outspoken players in the league. On the court, she's super competitive, emotional, and not afraid of physical play. Off the court, she doesn't shy away from saying exactly what she thinks, about basketball, about opponents, about culture, and clearly now about cities. From the moment she entered the league, she's been one of those players you notice. Whether fans love her or hate her, almost everyone has an opinion. And the players who bring that kind of energy usually don't suddenly turn quiet when it's time to talk about something off the court. That's part of what made this TikTok so interesting. It wasn't some PR sanitized, brand-approved clip. It was her on her own phone, speaking off the cuff about what she was seeing in Los Angeles. When a WNBA player decides to go that raw during such a high-profile NBA weekend, people are going to pay attention from a basketball angle. The timing of all this is pretty notable too. Sophie is with the Indiana Fever, and there have already been some off-season questions floating around about her long-term future there. Nothing official, no trade requests reported, nothing like that. But anytime there's uncertainty around a team's direction, rotation, and roster, fans start wondering where certain players might end up down the line. Now, with these very clear comments about LA and the influencer environment around All-Star, it's hard not to connect the dots a little bit. If you were speculating about landing spots for her and thought maybe the Los Angeles Sparks could be an option in the future, this TikTok probably made you pause. Based on how she described her experience in that city, LA doesn't exactly sound like her dream destination. Obviously, playing for the Sparks and living in Los Angeles full-time is different from dropping in for All-Star Weekend and walking into a super curated, influencer-heavy scene. But most players know, if you sign up for LA, you're signing up for more than just basketball. There's the media, the entertainment world, the social circles, and yes, the influencer culture that overlaps with all of that. It's part of what makes LA appealing for some athletes and a little exhausting for others. Sophie, at least from what she shared, seems like someone who prefers environments where people are a little more down to earth and less obsessed with how they look on a feed. And that's not exactly the image people think of first when they picture Hollywood and the social media machine attached to it. What makes this even more interesting is the backdrop of the NBA All-Star Weekend itself. The league has leaned harder and harder into celebrity and social media every single year. All-Star isn't just about the best players in the world being on the same court anymore. It's about brand activations, fashion fits, red carpets, concerts, influencer meetups, and non-stop content streaming out of the host city. You had Anthony Edwards putting on a show and claiming All-Star MVP for the U.S. team, which is exactly the kind of on-court performance the league wants people buzzing about. But behind the scenes, you also had hundreds of influencers, brand reps, and content creators turning the whole weekend into one giant digital billboard. That's the environment Sophie was walking through and reacting to from her perspective. It clearly felt like the balance had tilted too far. Too many people talking to their phones. Not enough people being present in actual human interactions. Too much emphasis on how you appear online. Not enough on who you are when nobody's recording. And whether you agree with her or not, it's hard to deny that she touched on something a lot of athletes and fans have quietly noticed. The modern sports world is deeply tied to social media. NBA players, WNBA players, college stars, everyone is building a brand now. Nil money at the college level has pushed that even further. Being marketable and having an online presence is part of the job. Some athletes genuinely enjoy that side of things. Others tolerate it, and a few openly criticize it. Sophie landed pretty firmly in that last group with this video, at least when it comes to the LA version of it during All-Star. But at the same time, she wasn't saying influencers don't belong anywhere. She specifically said she likes that they found a space where they can be themselves and build confidence. So she's not calling for that world to disappear. What bothers her is when the online persona doesn't match any kind of real-life substance. When someone can post, pose, and perform in front of the camera, but can't look another person in the eye or say hello when you're standing next to them. That's the part she called weird. And honestly, that's a point that goes beyond Los Angeles. You can find that disconnect in any big city, any event, anywhere social media has shaped how people interact. LA just happens to be the epicenter for a lot of that because of Hollywood, the entertainment industry, and the sheer number of influencers who live there. What this moment also did was remind everyone just how different athletes' experiences of the same event can be. One player might absolutely love being in LA for All-Star Weekend, networking with celebs, collabing with influencers, hitting every party, leaning into the Hollywood side of things. Another might walk away feeling drained and uncomfortable, wondering where all the normal people went. Cunningham clearly fell in that second category, and instead of keeping it to herself, she opened that window into her experience for millions of people to see. It also reinforces why she's such a polarizing and compelling personality in the WNBA. A lot of players think things like this, but keep it quiet to protect relationships, potential deals, or future opportunities in big markets. Sophie's brand has always been more take it or leave it. She understands that being outspoken can cost you in some ways, but also makes you stand out in a league that needs strong personalities to draw attention. For WNBA fans, all of this adds another layer to how we look at her, especially heading into future seasons. You've got a tough, emotional competitor on the floor with Indiana, a player whose name has already come up in conversations about team fit and long-term plans. Off the floor, you now have someone who's made it crystal clear that she's not trying to live the California influencer dream. For Los Angeles Sparks fans wondering about future free agents or trade targets, this is the kind of thing you file away. Athletes are people, and environment matters. Some are drawn to LA's bright lights and brand opportunities. Others would rather hoop somewhere that feels more real, more grounded, less image-driven. Sophie Cunningham sounds like she sees herself firmly in the second camp. And zooming back out to the bigger sports picture, her TikTok was a reminder that even during a weekend where the NBA wants everything to look perfect, new arena, star players, celebrity courtside shots, the whole package, there are always different perspectives underneath the surface. On paper, Los Angeles All-Star Weekend at the Intuit Dome was a complete success. Anthony Edwards as MVP, the U.S. team putting on a show, endless content rolling out from the city. But in the middle of that carefully curated celebration, one WNBA guard picked up her phone and said, "This all feels off to me," and a lot of people heard her. Whether you agree with her or think she's overreacting, her comment sparked a real conversation about influencer culture, authenticity, and what it means to navigate cities like LA as a professional athlete today. It wasn't sanitized, it wasn't scripted, it was just raw reaction, and that's exactly why it caught fire. So now I'm curious what you think. If you were in Sophie Cunningham's shoes during NBA All-Star Weekend in Los Angeles, surrounded by influencers, cameras, and curated vibes, would you love it, or would it feel just as weird to you as she described? And if you're a WNBA fan, could you see someone with her personality thriving in a place like LA, or is she better suited to a different kind of market? Either way, one thing's clear. While the NBA was celebrating the bright lights of Hollywood at the Intuit Dome, Sophie Cunningham made sure everyone remembered